Hello, this is Katie Ken. I am doing the video presentation for session 10 final. You asked us to start with our questions. The first one, while working on the final assignment, what aspect of programming was the most difficult? The aspect I'm struggling with right now is the same thing I've been struggling with for the past 2 weeks. It is trying to get the idea from my head to reality in Java. I overcame getting the buttons to work, and now that seems easy. But this week I've been stuck on scanning or reading the text file and putting it into Java. I started searching for answers in R-Reading. There were helpful things in there. I tried that. I moved on to Google and I tried everything I found. Stack Overflow, and I think that's one of the websites that I go to a lot. Anyway, there's a lot of code in my Java program, and I'm going to guess that most of it's useless since in the end result, I didn't produce what I wanted. I'll add that the second thing I've been struggling with is my anxiety. In general, I do really well under pressure, but when the solution to a puzzle eludes me, when I'm running out of time, to me it feels similar to needing to disarm a bomb and I can't see the clock ticking and I can't find my pliers. I still have not learned anything about testing. You sent a link to give more instruction about testing, but I couldn't access it because the invitation to that chat room had expired. But that is my time issue again. And testing is something that I'm going to have to self-study so that I can be sure that I'm doing well in the future. What aspect of programming did I enjoy the most? I loved creating something. Each time I wrote a program, even the simple ones, I had a rush of pleasure and pride in my work. Even executing the first Hello World runs. I love solving problems, which is ironic considering my issue with this code stuff in Java. I will overcome it because that is in my nature. I guess it just takes me longer on some things, and time isn't my friend these days. How have you grown as a computer programmer while taking this course? I think I have learned to recognize some patterns, and with the amount of mistakes that I make, it's become easier to figure out what I've done wrong to get certain errors. I'm also learning how to word my questions so that I can get better results faster without having to wade through the muck. So I'll start with my program in Visual Studio. This is my C++. I'll give you a quick run of code. And I'll be honest, I didn't spend too much time on the scripture. I mean, I've spent all quarter or all 10 weeks thinking about what scripture I'm going to use for my final. And apparently I read it wrong the first time because the scripture that I wanted to use was, I don't know if it's going to work out very well, but so anyway, here is my program. I'll start with 1. Oh, and then we'll have to check the file here. 1. And there's that. And then I'll show you one of the other ones just so that you can see that it did the right thing. 3. I didn't have any scripture off the top of my head. I forgot to write one down. We'll just go with Matthew. Oh, we'll go with John 3:16. And, oh, whoops. I should have done 2. Okay. And then you, so I got stuck on white space before I mastered that. I moved on, intended to go back to getting rid of, or being able to see the white space. I wanted to be able to go back to that, but I haven't. I don't think that's going to be very hard once I get back around to it, but it is closing in on 8:30 at night at Pacific time, and I still have to finish this video and then make the Word document and turn in the final. So anyway, the program itself works, so that's the good thing. So I'll go over to NetBeans. You can see the thing. Like I said before, there's a lot of code in here. And I'll show you what it does. So I've got that. And I get that. You wanted the end, you wanted if we push 3 to show the name and email, so I can just do this. And then, so it has those aspects. I didn't have time to get the color figured out. I spent a really long time trying to get this thing to read. Of course, it's not reading anything because there's nothing here and there's nothing here that shows the verses. It's not pulling the file. 1 is the closest I could get to pulling the file, and I had it looking really good there for a minute. But then I kept messing with it, and now it looks like that. So that is Java. I mean, at least it looks good. Working with Swing itself has become pretty easy as far as setting out the features and the display, even figuring out what the different buttons do and how to work the code in to get the buttons there. I feel like that's going pretty well. It's just the technical things that aren't so straightforward. I can't just push a button that says, add this action to this button, pull it from here. It seems to be taking a lot more effort than I thought it would. I've also learned or relearned about myself through this Java experience that perhaps the way I'm thinking of how to do something isn't the best or easiest way. And this time around, I pushed my idea too far and would need a lot more time to figure out a different way to execute it. But I'm thinking that might have to be what I end up doing is maybe not using this text box here and using a different frame. I don't know. So overall, I've really enjoyed this course. I like being challenged, and I'm excited to keep learning programming. I'm determined to succeed. And I thank you very much for your instruction.